27. And Cornet Cricker said he'll be speaking to Ben Tune on the field as a result of their little altercation at the Gabba. Paddy O'Brien, now he's a good man to be in charge, the 43-year-old. He makes a point of having a personal fitness trainer and also his own personal psychologist to make sure he's on top of the game. And he's a former police detective from Invercargill. So Paddy, with this strong breeze, one of the most experienced referees in the business.
Not slow to use his yellow card either, Paddy O'Brien. Will take no nonsense.
Matthew Burke gets the final Tri-Nations match underway in 2002. And Joe van Niekerk, who has been a revelation in the tournament. George Smith getting an early start there. And remember, in the rarefied atmosphere at 1,800 metres above sea level, the ball travels a lot further.
Well, after last week's happening, let's hope that Paddy O'Brien doesn't need his personal position in this game. A lot of discipline needed to be shown both on and off the field, particularly in this phase of play for the Wallabies. Important one to get right from the start.
And Owen Finnegan at the front in his 50th test. Jeremy Paul looting round the front of the line-out. Finnegan comes again. This is Larkham. Herbert away. Burke nicely to Herbert. Good defence by Cricker. And Australia not releasing. They go on quickly now. De Kock to Pulsar. Well, we saw South Africa open the test against New Zealand after absorbing some early pressure in the first couple of minutes. They then went at breakneck pace. Billy Mayer, who was rescued by the Durban Lifesavers during the week when he was caught in a rip.
That'll do, going forward, scrum.
Terrific work there. George Smith tied that one up. Tote Kefu following up from Daniel Herbert previously. Split second non-release there. Paddy O'Brien penalised, and De Kock, as we saw in the previous game in Brisbane, very quick tap restart by the South Africans. They've got to be careful, the Australians, in a defence against that.
Engage!
Good wrestle in the scrum.
Stay down in there, please.
And Chris Handy, the scrum's coming up on that far side.
Yeah, you've got Willie Meyer in the 3 jersey for the Springboks against Bill Young. Bill Young needs to get a good hold of jersey. It's a bit hard with that fairly solid body of Willie Meyer.
So Brent Russell with an early touch. That's the vet Barry. De Kock. Laduskukny.
Come on, tackler!
Delivered the ball nicely for his scrum half. Russell again. He's going to be a distributor in the early stages. They'll run a few decoys as well. Russell getting some quick ball. Van Niekerk. Burke the tackler. Loose pass there. Couldn't find Hall. And a wild one from Pulsar. Safaka is there. South Africa regroup. This is Joubert. Skinstad. Brilliant attack here from the box. Now Krief. And Mortlock getting a hand on the ball and putting it into touch.
The feature of the Springboks, the way they've played it this year, is support in depth, and players from fullback to front row there in support. It is good play.
Well, it looked like before that play that Lawrence Safaka had knocked the ball on. The Wallaby defence stopped, but the referee said play on, and they stretched it wide as they've done in a number of their games, the Springboks, not afraid to go on the outside.
So Sterling Mortlock knocking that ball into touch. You could argue he deliberately knocked it into touch, in which case it's a penalty. But the referee was happy he was just part of his defence. So 0-0 in the early stages, and the line out to form here. Three and a half minutes gone. So So Harrison couldn't pull that one down. Russell. Hard straight running from Barry.
Advantage!
And Harrison caught offside there. Labuschagne using his bulk, going straight into Burke. Referee's called an advantage.
Number 5.
And now the penalty.
Offside. The 5.
Well, Justin Harrison too keen in defence there, and Paddy O'Brien right onto him. Springboks having an excellent start to this game.
So, shot for goal coming up. 0-0, early stages. So Werner Krief, who scored a brilliant try against the All Blacks in Wellington and also kicked a drop goal. He runs his own fast food franchise. And might be free food all round if he can slot this one. Oh, horror show. Here's Harrison. That one actually hit the upright about halfway up.
Stay back, stay back.
Regan for Burke. And this is where Australia has a lot of options with their general play kicking. And that's a good reliever for the Wallabies.
A big dilemma for the Springboks if Werner Krief can only kick a bit like that. Pretorius has been a real strength in putting those very difficult penalties across.
That was an ugly strike of the ball, Chris Handy.
Gordon, John Eales reinforced early in the game, the more points the Springboks score, the harder it is for the Wallabies to achieve a dream 26-point win. So that was crucial as far as that's concerned.
Finnegan lost the heads. Kefu down on the loose ball. So the ball thrown in by South Africa. Australia able to pinch it but not able to hold on. There has been a few light showers around. So the ball just a little slippery there, but a good confrontation by Onyeka. Skinstad at the back. Barry is running hard and straight today. Over halfway. De Kock slipped away from Kefu.
Stay back, stay back.
Billy Mayer here.
Stay there.
And Skinstad's going to be the acting scrum half. All forwards on the blind side. Russell, electric. He saw there were 2 or 3 front rowers on that short side and he pinned his ears back. And I think Bill Young was offside. Waiting offside at fly half for the box. The referee said the ruck was formed.
There was a ruck formed after the tackle.
He was in no man's land.
Well, in general play, you're able to accept the ball that comes your way, but the referee's saying there was a ruck form. Russell stepping. He's elusive and they don't know much about him in general play and also particularly at fly half.
Good cover combination there, Harrison and Gregan. Interesting change straight away. Brent Russell now taking the kick.
Well, he's played 6 test matches already and scored 2 tries. Can he add a penalty goal to that tally? But he has certainly had a very impressive opening to the game, distributing, and then a telling break there, catching the Australian cover which had fanned wide. This 4 first points to the Springboks, and they're having all sorts of bother in these very blustery conditions. 2 straightforward kicks missed by the home team.
You don't see many of those kicks that are held by one of your teammates successful. Matt Burke has had to do it a couple of times. He did it at Stadium Australia and he also missed. Very distracting.
And Burke taking that kick way back behind the 22-metre line. De Kock, who has a good kicking game.
Come out, Green, come out.
And he's herring after it. Here's Latham. This is Tune. And De Kock with a fine tackle around the ankles. Almost to halfway. Larkham. That's a badly directed kick off Australia and into touch.
Great covering work there by Steve Larkham, sacrificed himself somewhat, charging that kick down. It's interesting seeing him mixing his game up. The Springboks in the past have really worked to pressure the Australian halves and have done it very successfully. So the Australians mixing their game up here tonight.
Larkham met solidly as he kicked that ball, just a little shaken.
Too slow, get it in.
Free kick against South Africa for not throwing the ball into the line out quickly enough. Kefu. Finnegan. Van Niekerk, the tackler. So no nonsense refereeing from Paddy O'Brien. Very loose pass, Tune. And they swarm and upend him. Referee spotting a penalty infringement. Regan attempting a drop goal.
In the side.
Coming in on the side of that tackle.
Lavaskakne was a mile offside then. Very obvious for Paddy O'Brien.
Yeah, Bloodman.
So there, number 4, Lavaskakne, never onside. So Matthew Burke is going to have a shot for goal. And he's probably about 40 metres out. No score. Matthew Burke, 64th test. 777 test points. He kicked the winning penalty to clinch the Bledisloe Cup for Australia 2 weeks back. And what a contrast in the kicking styles. A brilliant effort there by Burke, and Australia gets first blood.
I'm sure Corne Cricker won't be too happy with Lavaskakne. That was a very, very ordinary penalty to give away, and Matthew Burke has served notice.
Well, Ben Tune certainly got a nice old workover from the South African defence when he got the ball. 4 or 5 onto him. And Kefu has that remarkable ability to make good ground every time he's in possession.
Well, Dean Hall's copped a big whack from the big Tongan Tote Kefu.
Scrums are good, guys, nice and close. Just wait.
So Paddy O'Brien really keeping the lid on proceedings. Really talking to both teams.
Go.
And he's very much in control. Well, as we said, Larkham looked a little shaken after that early tackle on him. And that's a second kick that hasn't really gone where he intended.
He's got a big shoulder, a big elbow guard on his right arm.
Dalton over the back. Well done, Penta. Van Niekerk. Huge tackle on him by Kefu. This is Barry and Herbert. Lavaskakne lost it behind. And Mortlock has hacked it downfield. And I think they're ruling there. He may have been outside the 22. So right back to where he kicked it from.
That ball would have been much better going to Brett Russell, but Lavaskakne got himself involved. Now Dalton with the throw.
Harrison spoiled well there. Billy Mayer gained some driving defence from the Aussies. That's the 22-metre line. Russell. Pulse up. Clear. Then Tune stayed with him. Tune with a bandage around his head after that last skirmish with the South African defence. That's Schubert running straight across field. Billy Mayer into George Gregan. David and Goliath. De Kock. Van Niekerk. And terrific defence there. Some gang tackling by Harrison and one of the other Aussie forwards. It was Finnegan. Another penalty coming up for Australia. And Gregan is just happy again to accept the referee's initial decision, and Australia will kick for the touchline.
Very intense defence coming from the
7 goals.
Wallabies.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going at it. Okay, I'll have a word. Next one, it's in. This one here?
Been good work so far by George Smith.
Listen, it was high, I know, but be careful.
And the Wallaby defence. Van Niekerk is not getting in behind the opposition like he did against the All Blacks. And Labuschagne there overrunning the ball a couple of times. They just haven't got their rhythm, the Springboks.
They really tried to punch it up close to the ruck. Just one pass out, but the Australian defence has been waiting with double tackling.
It's interesting the playing styles of Pretorius and Russell. Pretorius much more likely to take the ball up to the defence. Russell tends to hang back a bit. It's suiting the Australians.
Green, go down. Thank you.
Nice tunnel.
Yeah,
That was sharp.
Oh, sorry.
Larkham this time finds Herbert. Smashes past Barry, wrapped up by Clear.
No ruck, no ruck.
No ruck, says the referee, just a tackle. Turnover ball. George Smith went in there, but I think it was too late. And the Australians creeping up. This is Dalton. Polsa. Safaka. Oh, badly spilt. This is Russell at the back. Russell comes away.
One of the Australians held back.
As Ben Darwin
Going for the ball. Darwin's in everything today. Good breakaway by the Wallabies. Lawrence Safaka has fumbled the ball a couple of occasions. They just seem not terribly composed, and they were straight onto it. Darwin marking up on his opposite number. That's the way to play it.
Well, they're just lacking cohesion at the moment, the box and the backs. No structure there. Kick for goal coming up. It's 3-0 Australia. So really, South Africa has matched Australia in the opening stages. They've had 2 penalty shots and missed both. Now Burke with his second penalty shot. Can he maintain a 100% record? Australia running with a handy breeze in the first half.
Running out of time with about 15 seconds.
15 seconds left for Matthew Burke. So he's going to have to rush this one. No matter. He should do that all the time.
Joe Cool. Okay, well, he's slotted the one to win the Bledisloe. There was nothing after that one.
And there's Ben Darwin, and Skinstad, well, just grabbed him there.
Well, you just can't do it, a player in front of you, and not right in front of the referee. It's silly stuff.
So Russell goes deep, and it's out on the full. So right back to the halfway line, Australia's scrum feet. And some silly mistakes creeping into South Africa's game.
Stay there, guys.
They've loaded up Brent Russell. Not only have they played him at fly half, but he's also taking the kick-offs. He's kicking for goal.
No, I'm talking about putting it now, all right? Okay. I don't want to pull anything over the head. Yeah. They've got to be better than what they are. Let's have them straight. Wait till the stable. Yeah, okay. Down the middle. Thanks, guys. Let's go.
Good refereeing.
Wait for the ball. No ball, guys, no ball.
Well, one thing, it's 100% concentration all the way for the referee in a match of this intensity. South Africans just a bit frustrated at the moment.
Come in front of me.
They're down by 6 points to 0. Nothing to show for their early good work.
Well, AJ Fenner having plenty to say there.
Engage! Go, Huff.
Gregan. Latham. Nicely cut down there by De Kock. Kefu. Well, he's gained another 10 or 12 metres.
Come on, the green lever! Advantage!
Another penalty conceded. So it's all about discipline at the moment. And Sterling Mortlock has gone for a huge drop goal.
Back here.
And pushed it out to the left-hand side.
Number 3.
Well, this is a total lack of discipline from the Springbok forwards. Good ball from Kefu, and then Sterling Mortlock, knowing he's got the advantage. Big speculator.
No problem with the distance. And Burke to have a third penalty attempt. This is his most difficult. But the Australians are coolly slotting the points at the moment. Remember, they need to score 4 tries and win by 26 points to retain the Tri-Nations trophy. Otherwise, it goes over the Tasman to New Zealand. Burke has been striking the ball beautifully. And that's 3 in a row. So Australia out to a 9-point advantage in the first quarter of the game.
Billy Mayer, Skinstad, Navaskakni all gave penalties away. 3 goals.
Australia making the most of this breeze in the first half and just playing with a lot of composure. Being very disciplined. And Larkham happy to send it downfield to de Kock. Oh, almost had his head taken off there by George Smith. But again, both sides showing good discipline there. The South Africans not overreacting.
Oh, I don't know about that cricket.
I'm talking about the reaction. Be careful, keep them down. Go to the blood bin and get it sorted. Yep, go get it sorted.
So George Smith is off for the blood bin.
Well, he went round his arm was over the shoulder. It wasn't round the neck, but it was high. He deserved what he got, and he got another little extra for his trouble, I think, from Cornet Cricket.
Oh, well and truly a swinging arm from Cornet.
Short, sharp one.
George Smith was man of the match at the Gabba against South Africa in Tri-Nations 1. Van Niekerk. No more form, so no collapse was the ruling. Let's see if South Africa can construct something here. Here's Russell, the step up. Ben Tune, the tackler. And he's pinched it and slipped it back to George Smith. AJ Fenter and Kefu having a minor difference of opinion. Skinstad, who was there? And again, the ball knocked into touch.
And, Chris Latham had a bit of a mind explosion. Caught the ball deep and decided he was going to have a go no matter what. Didn't appear to be a lot of space there. They were a bit lucky to get out. He tried to go through that gap. There was deep cover and also shallow cover. It was just there wasn't any support for that pass of Bobby Skinstad.
Interesting, the Wallabies giving the Springboks no quarter. Everywhere they turn, there's a gold jumper belting him.
Take a break.
And still the blood is coming out of the nose of George Smith. So he goes back to the blood bin.
Put the ball down, go and have a break. Take a break. Okay, let's go.
David Lyons coming on. So David Lyons,
Okay.
his 10th test match from Sydney University.
Let's go, Pete.
Van Niekerk not able to hold on.
Close forward, that'll do. Throw the knock on.
Ball lost ahead by the number 7 for South Africa.
Well, that's the second or third turnover from the Springboks in the line out. The second one by for Newkirk.
Good scrum, South Africa. Pressure on the Aussie backs, but they scramble out of jail. Here's Herbert. Cregan. Mortlock from the left wing. Smith back on the field. And Finnegan. Sharp over halfway. Cregan. Larkham. Dan Herbert. Barry takes him. This is Burke. Lovely step. And then he ran into Labuschagne. Aussies working it away. Two faces to the right, then the in pass to Latham. Larkham. Mortlock. Very willing defence from South Africa. Billy Mayer coming through. That's Nathan Sharp. He'll have a shoulder reconstruction after Tri-Nations. No knock on it, came off the foot. Jeremy Paul goes ahead. Australia just depriving South Africa of the ball at the moment. Larkham not quite getting the touchline, and will come back to the 22.
Well, help me out here, Butter. Who's gone off? Because you've got Lyons there, you've got Smith back on, you've got Kefu, you've got Sharp. Harrison must be having a rest.
Well, it must be Harrison. Smith certainly came back on, but it was in the blink of an eye. They've obviously just shoved cotton wool up his nose and pointed him back out. They need him there. When he went off for 10 minutes at the Gabba to get a hooker back on, Australia fell flat.
Okay, this is Kefu. So Harrison's definitely out there. Mortlock getting involved. He's hungry for work. Herbert caught behind the advantage line. Good tackle by Barry. And open territory. And a nice bounce too. So Russell acting as a sweeper in defence as well.
Well, South Africa have lost 4 on their own throw in the line out. Good tactic this one. Put the pressure back on the Springbok line out.
So James Dalton now celebrated his 30th birthday yesterday.
Keep it up, keep it up!
Labuschagne led the driving maul. Here's to Cock. Finnegan got an early start.
Too quick. Too quick.
Well, South Africa needs to get some reaction on the scoreboard. They're trailing by 9-0. And Australia has just called the tune so far. And Finnegan just up prematurely.
Well, for South Africa, they haven't been able to get this man into the game, and it's probably because of Brent Russell at fly half. He's playing a different game. Joubert and Krief and Polsa are match winners. They just haven't been able to get enough ball to feed them regularly enough.
So the South African forwards again. Very tight here.
Yes, okay, keep it up.
We've marched it 20 metres up to halfway. From Newkirk back to Labuschagne. Lawrence Safaka at the back. They've gone 30 metres. As though there was a punch thrown there by one of the Aussie forwards.
Yeah, touchdown's got his flag out.
I saw one of the Australian locks throw a right uppercut.
Nathan Sharp.
So this might be a sin bin if it is the call from the touch judge.
ball is now. Here's number 4, Australia.
I believe it's number 4.
Yeah. It's off, mate.
Penalty to South Africa where the ball is now.
Yeah.
So just a penalty.
Number 4, Australia. Captain. Number 4 threw a punch. Yeah. We talked about discipline. It's a penalty here. Okay, go away.
Well, Justin Harrison just telling the referee that Nathan Sharp had been eye gouged.
There you go.
And clear.
Well, this is the best attacking opportunity for the Springboks. 28 minutes into the game.
None of it.
There you can see Sharp just telling the referee he'd been eye gouged. That's why he reacted with his punch. Skinstad at the back. Safaka. Labuskakni. 10 metres to go now for South Africa. Billy Mayer. This is their best opportunity for points. Russell ran out of options. Labuskakni on the inside.
That's fine.
Taken away by Larkham. Oh, caught from behind by Joubert. Larkham was still able to recover pretty well, and Jeremy Paul with a clearing kick.
Well,
versatility.
Buddha Handy's desperately wanting to see the Australians score a try here for all those up at the Buddha bar at the Ekka.
Go you good things, but they're not going so well. Here in defence, the Wallabies were rattled, but the Springboks can't find the fluency that they need. They can't let it stick, get it to stick, and I think Brent Russell's the problem. He's going to have a crack, do it on his own and get it out of his system.
AJ Fenter, where's it going? It's a real mix-up, but they got away with it. Labuskakni again. Russell telegraphing that ball inside the hall. The Australians will try and force a collapse maul. Oh!
Maul turnover.
And it is a collapse maul.
Up we come.
Mellon getting a workout there.
So again, just the option taking from South Africa, from the fly half, not helping their cause.
Scrum, fellas.
I hope those South African players haven't damaged the studs in their boots trying to hurt Mellon.
Come on, work for me.
Well, the Wallaby scrum has got to aim up here. Ben Darwin hasn't had a lot of football, but he's held that scrum very well.
There's Kefu.
Come here, Pepper.
And back to Latham on his favoured left boot. Winner of the People's Choice Award in Super 12 as the outstanding Australian player in 2002. So Australia still cruising at 9-0. South Africa will have the breeze in the second half. Taking a long time here. Skinstad. Billy Mayer just controlling at the back here again. This is where the referee will be looking to see if it's pulled down. Russell. Joubert and Hall. But again, the fly half just running across field and not giving any time or space to his outsides.
That'll go green. We come.
Fantastic contest at the breakdown. Wallabies giving the Springboks no easy ball.
There's not the breakouts there was last week. Free-flowing tries both sides.
Come on.
Wallaby defence is holding up, and John Eales had said before the game that was important. They had to close the Bok attack down very quickly.
So an injury here to Matthew Burke. We're closing on half-time. It's Australia by 9-0. So the fans getting very involved. It's party time at Ellis Park. Matthew Burke is able to resume. And we're on the halfway line. Cameron Lillycrap, former Wallaby prop, the Australian physiotherapist, is checking out the Aussie number 13. Good scrum, Australia.
Down, fellas, no. Let's go that far.
Well, there's heavy going in the scrums.
Okay, gentlemen.
Lawrence Safaka on that side. Paddy O'Brien stepping in now to say, come on, keep it up. Keep it steady. I wonder if they'll listen. I don't think so.
Okay.
So Bill Young on this side. Close to Safaka. To Barry. He's been a go-forward man. He's looked quite dangerous. And now Van Niekerk. They're watching him very closely. Pick and go from the South Africans. Russell now. Joubert. Ball went backward. Safaka. What a great charge by the prop forwards. Inside the quarter. Some space for South Africa now. Barry. AJ Benter got rid of it. Russell is there. Labuskakni. South Africa still in possession. Dalton did well. Can they sustain it here though? Russell again. Van Niekerk. South Africa clean out well. De Kock and Russell. And he needs a bit of space. Just couldn't offload inside. Pulsar, here's danger. Lovely pass. Barry. 5 metres to go.
Great turnover.
And flung into touch there by Latham off his feet. Players going to ground. Don't know whether they picked it up.
A real scramble on in defence that time for the Wallabies as they came one after another, the Springboks. They had a dab. Desperation by Stephen Larkham after Polter went so close with the wet Barry. That switch really opening things out, the knock-on by South Africa.
No, only what I can see, mate.
Then Latham just scurrying the ball into touch. But it was a knock-on by Larkham in desperation.
Yeah.
Well, the crowd, I think, sensing that their side can really finish off here and close the gap on Australia before half-time. So that's a penalty offence, but it looks as though it went unnoticed.
Okay.
Australia fully stretched out wide. Somehow they held on.
Guys, you've got to work for me here, okay? Let's work hard and keep it up. Don't go. Stay here. Engage! Okay, let's go. Sit down.
Van Niekerk. Skinstad arrived. De Kock and Russell. Joubert beat the first line. That was Barry.
He's fine.
Picked up by Safaka. He went straight over the top. Now Pulsar. Tried. He accelerated from a standing start. Sustained pressure from the box. And after the kick, there will be a 2-point difference.
Well, very good tactics in the box to set this try up. Work the back row move. Tied up some of the Australian back row, and then Safaka, who's featured the last 2 drives from the South Africans, gives Brayton Polter, the zip-zip man, the opportunity to score the try.
It was the thrust from Safaka and the quick clearance that gave the room to Polter. He is electric.
Well, he missed much of Super 12 in 2002 with a patella tendinitis. South African Player of the Year in 2000. That's a telling strike. And South Africa right in the test match now, scoring in the championship period before half-time. Too much pace for Jeremy Paul.
Well, the Springboks really have got their act together in the last 10 minutes. Very slow start. They have got abundant talent, such as Brayton Poulter, to score some tries.
Well, Devlet Barry has also given them some good go-forward footer. And that man, Joubert, very hard straight running. But, some inspirational play there from Safaka, as mentioned by Simon. Labuschagne. He's also a man who knows only one way. So the Boks are just punching up hard and straight. And Owen Finnegan penalised.
Well done, boy, Gears. Well done.
So the South Africans, although frustrated, haven't lost faith in themselves. And now they've suddenly got a spring in their step. Corne Krige, the captain, in the background. And just the momentum coming back for the Boks. They're playing against the breeze in this first half. And the referee saying there a ruck had been formed, so therefore Owen Finnegan couldn't use his hands in the ruck. Skinstad, Labuschagne. This driving maul's been effective. It's stamina sapping. Russell. Now there's some space. Joubert and Russell. Russell again. Oh, they won't stop him. Another one for the Boks. 2 tries in as many minutes, and the game has turned on its head.
Well, Sterling Mortlock makes a fairly feeble attempt to tackle Russell and thinks that he has stopped him. But it didn't do anything at all. Russell passed and then supported. Good 5'8". Mortlock goes in, he breaks out of the tackle down low, and then it's shut the gate.
Well, it's actually the tackle of Herbert, I think, Buddha, who was underneath him. Or was it Burke? It's Herbert there, and he slipped out of it.
It's the turnaround and the fortunes of the Springbok line-out, which is providing this very, very abundant ball now. In trouble early on, but now they're getting it right.
So as we suspected, the focus for this Australian team is to get across the line by a point and win the test match. And suddenly South Africa, with these 2 tries, has shown they're going to make that task extremely difficult, let alone winning the Tri-Nations Trophy with that equation of 26 points. He was never put on the ground there, and Australia pays the penalty.
Sterling Mortlock went for the big swinging arm hit. Didn't pay off, and that hasn't paid off either. Into touch.
On the full. Well, having that low centre of gravity too, Brent Russell, he was able to take advantage and just slip through the Australian defence. And it's those little guys again, the Mosquito Fleet, who are doing the damage.
Well, they're the 2 blokes you don't want the ball to go to in broken play. They are quick.
Yes.
Now clear. South Africa putting plenty of pressure on the Australians, and Latham happy to put that one into touch, I think. So, a fantastic last 10 minutes. Corne Krige, the man who leads by inspiration, and that little guy with the jet shoes, Brent Russell, have seen the home team skip away to a 14-9 lead at halftime. Well, a terrific comeback by the South Africans. They were finally rewarded after all of the pressure they applied, and Brent Russell and Brayton Poulter were the 2 guys who really did the damage. They got the tries before half-time. Krief with 2 successes there with his conversions, and Matt Burke has kicked 3 penalty goals for the Australians. Now, looking at the stats, South Africa is dominating possession and territory, and also the ruck and mauls, and a 2-1 advantage in the line-outs as well. And also we see that the Wallabies have been doing a bit more kicking than South Africa, and that's probably understandable with that breeze. But let's now analyse proceedings in that first half with former Wallaby Gary Pearce.
Well, the half commenced with a very defensive here. In this case, Skinstad standing way offside in the early parts of the game. So he was really trying to live over on the Australian side of the advantage line. But even in attack, Skinstad was a big part of the game, because he's moving across field, looking for runners coming across the line. In this case, bringing the setters through to get across and make the advantage. Only way to stop that is offensive tackling. And who else than Owen Finnegan's ability to put pressure on a pass all the time, which puts them back behind the advantage line. Plenty of players to come forward and create turnovers. And Australia were looking pretty comfortable towards the middle of that particular half because they'd kept it tight. But as soon as it became loose, Polster was able to take advantage, in this case, to get past Paul and Young, to be able to get right across the field to score these tries. And we have to tighten up our defence if we're going to win this game.
Yes, well, you'd have to say that the Tri-Nations is looking a lost cause at the moment for the Australians. They have to score 4 tries and win by 26 points. I think they'll be lucky to get away with this game, because the South Africans, with the home ground advantage, are looking very good at half-time. They lead by 14-9. The players back out on the field on the other side of the break. Yes, well, little Brayden Polster, isn't he an exciting player? And back to the form that made him the best in South Africa in 2000. Matthew Burke also on song from a similar position. He gave Australia that early 9-0 lead, but you thought it was a little flattering really for the Wallabies, and South Africa made that point pretty emphatically in the 10 minutes before the break. Alongside me, Simon Poitevin and Chris Handy, and the Wallabies with it all to do now in the second half, and South Africa enjoying the advantage of the win.
I think Eddie Jones always wanted to have a conservative first half, but I don't think they expected to see the Springboks score 2 tries. So now it has to be all-out attack from the Wallabies. Forget about the conservative game and really take it to the Springboks, who will just be inspired by the Brent Russell and Brayden Polster tries the first half.
Chris, in that try, you saw some terrific clean-out also from the South African forwards, and they just knocked Australian forwards out of the game.
Well, good, and again we've seen that the Wallabies have gone a bit quiet. That hole in the middle of their game, and it cost them dearly this time from broken play. The 2 people can really hurt you. Polster and Russell, quick off the mark, have done it.
Bernard Krief starts the second half, and Nathan Sharp securing the ball from the start. So Burke, oh, there he is again. Schubert up on Chris Latham. That's just great timing in the tackle. Latham surprised there.
They got the ball too.
Turnover to Koch. Krief. Polster. Krief. They're keeping it alive. 7 metres out. Billy Mayer's there. De Kock now. Great dive pass. Here's Dalton. Nowhere to go. Darwin wrapped him up. Russell goes wide. Van Niekerk. That's AJ Venter. Polster's there. Van Niekerk again. South Africa looking for their 3rd try. Here's Russell. Safaka. Into Smith. A metre to go. Russell again. Labuschagne. A steamroller. Australian forwards have cleaned out well, but they're short on numbers, and Polster gets his 2nd. Again, sustained pressure. And there's that familiar gymnastic flourish. And the Wallabies are under the hammer in Joburg.
Well, the turnover is punished, and punished so well by the Springboks. They wound it up. Fantastic control of the ball, the breakdown. Safaka almost gets there. Labuschagne almost gets there. This was good defence. They're just sucking in the The men in goal, George Gregan desperately trying to get the ball back. Not to be. AJ Feder frees it up, and then quick hands finds Brayton Poulter.
Well, South Africans going right on with the job here in the second half.
Nelson Mandela would have to be delighted with his Rainbow Nation. Twice Safaka has plunged to the line, and then Poulter has scored, sharing around the plaudits, and here's the celebration.
So it's the Springboks who look as though they'll score the bonus point first. They'd be long odds on to do that to get a fourth try. And Australia looking at a very long second half now. They really have to get their hands on the ball. It's been all South Africa in the last 15 minutes, and there's some inspiration from Mortlock. George Smith goes in. Here's Finnegan. Sharp. And June with a juggling act. Knock on by Sharp. June just trying to paddle that ball back. And big Nathan Sharp just couldn't gather it in.
Doesn't he have a go, Ben June? Every time he gets the ball, just 100% flying.
Wasn't able to put that ball in front of Ben Tune. Had he been able to, it would have given him a bit more peripheral vision. Ran straight into the cover.
South Africa playing with a lot of confidence here. 21-9. The Ellis Park hoodoo looks as though it's going to continue. Australia's only success here in the history of Australian-South Africa tests was 39 years ago. Kepu, Regan, and Tune again. Well grasped by Van Niekerk. Billy Mayer told to go back onside. This is Kepu. He's wrapped up by Van Niekerk again. Hasn't he had an outstanding game, the number 7? Here's Herbex. Big palm off. Dan Herbert could smell the goal line there. Finnegan. Larkham. Well grasped. Nathan Sharp. South Africa holding on. Fifth phase for the Wallabies. This is Ben Tune. Pretty predictable that time. South Africa holding onto the ball on the ground there. Referee playing advantage.
You can't go into your hands now.
Well, I reckon they'll put a scrum down here.
They've got to pick up the pace of the game and play themselves into it. This isn't about winning the Tri Nations. This is about winning the game. They've done nothing really positive about it. Matt Berger's been hitting from long range, but when they've got close, they've had little to offer.
So it's 21-9 to South Africa. Penalty going Australia's way, and Wallabies are going to take the line out. Just Chris Latham hoeing that one into touch. And now important that the Wallabies can consolidate this line-out ball. That's been an area South Africa has done extremely well. They've had most of the line-out throws. Here's Gregan. Tune going without it. Numbers in the line-outs. So South Africa with an extra man in that line-out. Australia was throwing in. They dictated. Free kick.
Scrum.
Well, here's the opportunity. Will Kefu take it off the back of the scrum and suck in some Springbok defence? Or does it go straight out?
There's a great scrum from South Africa.
Come up.
They really gave the Wallabies a shunt there.
We're going to bind them as well. Let's stay down. Stay square for me.
Crucial part of the game for the Wallabies.
Let's go, Huff.
Safaka doing well. Kefu! Toto Kefu!
Hold down.
And will it be touch in goal?
They're going up top.
Okay, Jim, just when you're ready, I'd like to have a look at grounding.
He's not absolutely elated.
If it is a
You'd
try,
have to say it's very doubtful it's a try.
I want to know where we restart, please.
Well, the betting at the moment would be a restart back at the 22, but Kefu, you can't underestimate him.
Jim Fleming, the Scot, has to decide this one. Dean Hall trying his best.
There's the corner post going out. Can he get it down?
Well, it's split second, isn't it? Looks like it's not a try to me.
Well, it's a photo finish. They'll need a second print on the race course.
Yeah, I'm ready now, Jim.
Jim Fleming, the Scotsman, with his verdict, and it's not looking good for Toto Kefu.
Yep. Thanks very much, Jim. Cheers. 22.
Back to the 22. Well, it's one that could easily have gone the other way, but a valiant effort there by Toto Kefu.
Big pick up in defence there from Nikirk as well.
Kefu there to Tune. Steaming onto it. Got away from Cricker. And manhandled there by Devet Barry.
Down, go.
Just a tackle. Australia going forward.
Thank you.
Almost got himself caught out there, Ben Tune. Got hit pretty hard, then looked to have a go at the player and almost got turned. Opened up in the first half, some very heavy Springbok defence.
Again, disrupted Australian scrum.
Leave it, leave it.
But against Billy Mayer.
No, go away. Number 3. Come on, square.
Chris Handy.
You've got to say that this is pedantic refereeing. Willie Mayer had the push on Ben Darwin. Ben Darwin had really tent-pegged. He dug his feet in and he was doing all he could to resist the push coming on. And when you take this out of the game, I think it really sanitises a fabulous part of the game that makes it different.
So the dairy farmer from Bloemfontein, Billy Mayer, just shakes his head, thinking he'd done all the hard work there. Another important line out for the Wallabies. Harrison, Kefu, and Nikirk waiting for him. This is Australia's chance. George Smith. Big clean out from Sharp. Finnegan. This is Mortlock. Back through his legs. Australia still outside the 22. They put it through 3 phases. Larkham. Herberts, half gap. Towed ahead by Skinstad. Australia regather. It looks as though it was an accidental offside there against the Australians.
Well, coming into 30 minutes to go, they're not really getting much penetration out there. I think it's time for Matt Rogers to hit the field.
Australia really trying too hard. Seem to be forcing the play a bit.
Come on.
Some of the errors are coming. Getting into the line. Dan Herbert trying really hard, but that defence sliding across. And a bit of 8 ball.
So we still have 30 minutes to go, but it's all South Africa by 21-9. And it looks as though corner cricket will be departing the scene. So South Africa will be bringing on Hendro Scholz, who's a very handy replacement. But all the damage done, and Herbert with Burke with the charge down.
Get off. Are we okay there, Elaine?
And fine work there by Matthew Burke.
Send them on now. 6-3.
But these South African fans are rejoicing already.
Okay.
This will be their first win in Tri-Nations if they can get across the line. And Matt Rogers is on the field for Australia, and so number 18, Matt Cobain.
So is number 19, David Lyons. Wholesale changes by Eddie Jones.
Are you captain?
The injured Springbok skipper.
Hold it.
Cricker leaving the field.
On the whistle.
That's Finnegan and Harrison off the field in the forwards.
Picked up by Latham. The vet Barry was there, so was Schubert. They've been tigerish defenders.
Stay back, stay back.
For Australia to get back into this game.
Touchy's got his flag
Need a
up.
try here. This is Mortlock.
Down, fellas, up. I want to have a yarn. Everyone disappear. Everyone disappear.
So 3 players on for the Aussies. We'll just listen to Chris White.
Number 12, South African centre. 12 or 13. 12. Punched him in the head when he was on the floor. Okay, so Jim, if you're listening, if it is definitely number 12, he's going to the bin. Are you sure of the number? Yes. 12 green? Number 12 green. Punch on the floor. I agree. I want number 12 green. Number 12. Okay, on the floor, punch went in, team will touch it. Hold on. Quiet, please. That's what spoils a good game, and to this game does not need it.
I'm just wondering there, Nathan Sharp delivered a punch in the first half, which normally is a sin bin offence, but this must have been a more severe one.
It was much more severe. Pretty obvious to anyone out there.
I think DeWitt Barry had his arm around. He's saying that he might have been bitten on the hand as he had it across Ben Darwin's face, and then gave him one in the ear as it came loose. Anyway, it's you punch on the field, you're seen by a touch judge or a ref, you're going to get a yellow card. There's no percentage in it at all, unfortunately, these days.
So Billy Mayer is off. Ralphin Buck is on.
Good win from Cobain.
This is Australia's chance now to get back into this contest. After leading by 9-0, South Africa with 21 unanswered points. Wallabies with an extra man.
Gregan.
Jeremy Paul. And South Africa coming up with all the answers.
Well, they're sucking the Springbok forwards in, but they've got a spare man out the back line. They've got to use the open spaces.
Number 2.
Good work, the driving maul, but they've got to get the man free at the end. It was de Kock that was able to cover up on Jeremy Paul.
AJ Fenter.
What's your feet?
Nathan Sharp with a big drive, and James Dalton stands his ground. He's had an excellent game, the Springbok hooker. Dean Hall is in there, acting as an extra forward. De Kock now. Clear space here for Clear. George Smith herring in. Australia's line-out throw on the 22. 21-9, 17 to go. New Zealand will be celebrating. Almost certainly they have regained the Tri-Nations trophy.
And South Africa looked certain to hold that Nelson Mandela plate, the challenge plate.
Kefu to Gregan. Now into a bit of space.
Hands off!
Well, the ball hasn't travelled across the Australian back line. There's Sharp. Running in the hip there of David Lyons. And that's really silly play by South Africa. They've conceded a penalty. Quite dangerous play as well.
Berglieff again.
No. Leave. Go away.
He's done it once before, close to the line.
Number 9, hold it there. 9.
So the Wallabies can certainly still win this game. They're trailing by 12 at the moment, but they need to take advantage of this sin binning.
Now that we've got the charges for a small break, take the king away for 10 seconds. Let's just bring this game down half a notch. Okay, for the chip shots and everything else. Everything else is great. It's a good game of rugby. Let's bring it down just half a notch. Go and talk to them. Talk to the forward. Number 9. I want you to tell them.
A big day in Australia now on the Sunday. Big anniversary of the Battle of Long Tan for all the vets out there.
It's interesting too,
guys.
Simon Paddy's changed his style. It's not George anymore, it's number 9.
What's the call?
And number 10 and number 8.
Well, you'd think George Gregan would go back to his blokes, instead of saying take it down half a notch, take it up about 5 notches. That's what I'd be doing. The referee doesn't have the ability to tell you what to say to your player.
Break it.
I think he's just taking advantage of having a little respite just to bring those temperatures down a little. But this is Australia's opportunity. Safaka. Gregan with loose ball. South Africa very hungry here. Taken ahead by Sharp. Wallabies have really made heavy weather of penetrating the South African defence. Larkham again. Matthew Burke. Loose pass. Lovers Gugny. Very tentative play there by the Wallaby outside backs. Here's Latham. Well taken there by Rogers. And back down inside the 22.
It's interesting, the two backline raids the Wallabies have used so far with Matt Rogers on the field. They've cut him out both times. George Smith rearranges the hair.
Coming on.
So Ben Tune off the field. Matt Rogers on.
Brendan Cannon now.
Taken by AJ Fenter again. Still 24 minutes left in the match. And Lions taking on 4 Springboks there. Now the maul's formed. And that's clear. Really taking advantage of the width. That one's down near the goal line. And Chris Latham with a good reply back to the halfway line, and 6 minutes left in the bin for Devet Barry.
Interesting, the Vet Barry sin binning. The Wallabies haven't made the Springboks pay for that one.
Not yet anyway.
Come out.
Halfway line.
Really energy-sapping stuff as you enter into the last 25 minutes of the game. The Springboks are using this driving maul to great use.
Well done, AJ Fenter. Now Russell. Smith around his ankles. And de Kock. Here comes Paulser. But Latham's there first. So Neil de Kock has been a real general at scrum half for the Springboks. And This sort of performance has just been waiting in the wings from the South African team.
Hold. 15!
Really unlucky against South Africa last week. Nearly snuck home against the Wallabies at the Gabba after looking well beaten. But tonight they've taken centre stage and Tune is back on. And just over 20 minutes remaining. This is fullback Bernard Kriel. That's a monster. Almost down to the 22.
So it looks like Tune's come back on. Lathan's off. Rogers fullback. Now, Jeremy Paul did very well with his throws in this very noisy ground. Brendan Cannon must deliver.
Taken by Cobain. Brendan Cannon then, wrapped up by Van Niekerk. 35 metres out from the Wallaby goal line. Ben Tune. And here's Russell. We have a little crack here. Almost to the halfway line. David Lyons, the tackler. Free up again. And Matt Rogers. First opportunity to run it back. And a good offload there to Mortlock. Well picked up by Paulser. There was no ruck form. Just a tackle. James Dalton's there again. South Africa can spread it wide here. They have an overlap. Skinstad. Lovely pass to Van Niekerk. He's away. And that's a bonus point for South Africa. And maybe the death knell for the Wallabies.
Well, what a breakout by the Springboks. They were always going to be dangerous given the way they had played during the Tri-Nations. And aren't they rubbing it in? Bobby Skinstack winks. He did a cannon here. He did very well. He got between the players when he delivered the pass. His arm, I think, even took out the only Wallaby player left on his feet, leaving Van Niekerk a clear run to the line. You see it come wide. Skinstad gets in there and Ben Tune gets brought down.
Love to see that in slow motion. Skinstad, I think, illegally brought Ben Tune down, but terrific run from Joe Van Niekerk to score the try.
Well, it was a fantastic offload by Bob Skinstad, showing his 7-a-side skills there. And a little bit of respite as the kick hits the uprights. So Joe Van Niekerk, who's been close to the player of the whole Tri-Nation series, really. He's been a marvellous performer, a great discovery, along with the likes of Greer, Joubert, star performers. And this is a revitalised South African team who really hit their straps. And with an eye towards the World Cup, this is the win they were looking for.
Well, the Wallabies haven't taken their opportunity so far. They still can win this game. Corne Krika very, very happy, off injured.
A little bit of shepherding there at the teammate by AJ Fenter. Players got in front of him against Bob Skinstad there.
Only two fresh players left on the Australian bench. Elton Flatley, Chris Whittaker.
And another dangerous runner, Chris Handy, on for South Africa. Johannes Conradi at scrum half now. As the game is loosening up, the Wallabies will have to watch him.
It's this scrum that's gone pretty well for South Africa and been a pretty energy-sapping one for the Wallabies. They haven't quite been able to get the go forward in it that they've needed.
pushing before the ball went in. This is Todai Kefu. Australia trailing by 17 points. Still haven't scored a try. South Africa have managed 4. But now Rogers. That's a brilliant finish. Finally, Australia shows something like their true potential. And an important score for the Wallabies with 16 to go. And that brings the margin back to 12 points.
The go-ahead man, Todai Kefu, sets it up. Drives forward. Ball placed back beautifully. Daniel Herbert does well here. Split-second pass to Matt Rogers, and Brent Russell can't get across to bring him down. And Krief also. Well done, Matt Rogers.
Well, he's not celebrating the same way he was at Stadium Australia after scoring against the All Blacks, but there'll be an air of satisfaction there for Matt Rogers to be able to finally get across the line for the Wallabies. May well give them. They finished well in all of their games, the Wallabies. Maybe they can do so again here.
Well, it does give them a glimmer of hope, especially if Matthew Burke can convert. But Rogers getting his second test try. It was an excellent effort by Russell to try and stop his momentum and hold him up. But he just couldn't maintain the grip.
Well, good composure from Rogers to spot the grass and head down there, because Krief was trying to keep him up. Crowd have been very excited by the Springbok performance. Now a little bit more nervous as Matthew Burke lines this one up.
So South Africa just going off the boil a little there, and the Wallabies really pouncing. And Matthew Burke with this perfect record. This would cut the margin to just 10 points. And it's a fine strike by Burke. So it's 26-16, a 10-point margin. Matt Rogers just showing his blistering speed and step out wide. And Australia's still in the hunt here. Nathan Sharp just showing very good adjustments. He was very close to the touchline. High tackle from Krief on Burke. Referee playing advantage. And this is a nasty tackle. It could be another sin bin.
No more. No more.
No, he's not going to sin bin. He's just going to give him a warning. Wasn't too vicious.
Pretty much a reaction, that one. Nothing deliberate.
We saw a penalty try last week from something similar. That's probably the appropriate reaction. It was above the shoulder. It was dangerous.
So 10 points the difference and 15 minutes to go. Wallabies still in with a fighting chance here. Springboks have scored 4 tries to 1.
Talk about fighting chances. Werner Krief had a particularly tough life as a kid. Just determination got him through to being a champion rugby player.
So Skinstad has come into his own in the last 3 Tri-Nations matches. And Australia 10 from halfway.
This is the period where it hurts. The gas goes out of the legs. They've got to forget about that, the Wallabies.
George Smith was a decoy runner there. And now it's Dan Herbert. Oh, great skills from Burke to pull that pass in. Brendan Cannon. Steady build up here by the Wallabies. Larkham following. He's going to get a penalty. Some late interference after he'd kicked the ball.
That little yellow card might pop out here.
A couple of times the Wallabies have gone close with their decoy runner. who continues on. But the referee sees fit to play the advantage to Stephen Larkham. He's able to go to the line quickly here and kick. And you've really got to just leave him completely alone as Joubert just waves the lazy arm out.
Larkham's going to kick for the touchline here, I think, for Matthew Burke. And Australia looking for a 7-point result if possible. 10 points the difference. Converted try here would have Australia trailing by 3. After being down by, well, after being down and out, really, they were trailing by 26 to 9. So Sharp and Cannon. Well, Brendan Cannon will not get much closer to his first test try.
A great line-out move.
Just as well he got across the line then, was held up. If he'd been this side of that white line, would have been a Springbok ball.
This is a great attacking opportunity for the Wallabies to post a try. Quick ball, it's man on man. Herbert and Burke.
Let it go!
Gregan. David Lyons. Now Gregan with a chance. Larkham and Rogers. The referee playing advantage again. George Gregan quickly to Dan Herbert. 12 minutes to go. Still playing advantage. Here's Kefu. Lovely step. And another one for the Wallabies. They're back in business.
Well, that step will bring back nasty memories for many Kiwis from the last Bledisloe Cup last year in Sydney. Kefu slides across. Critical try. Daniel Herbert does well. Holds the ball up. George Gregan finds Kefu. Kriev can't stop him. Comrade can't stop him.
Well, this will bring a smile to the faces of some of the drought-stricken farmers in Queensland and New South Wales West, as Billy Andrews, a former Queensland Reds player, and his wife in the crowd there cheer the Wallabies.
No problem with the conversion, and suddenly we have a 3-point ball game. This is quite amazing. The Springboks led by 26 to 9, and now it's 26 to 23.
Well, there'll be lots cheering around the Boomai bats, the amateur thespians out there wanting to entertain and keep the spirits of all the country folk up. A win here would do it. The Wallabies again close, 10 minutes to go.
Well, I think the Springbok players were probably celebrating. That was their problem. They just have taken their eye off the ball, and the Wallabies now have taken this game by the scruff of the neck. That's Bill Young.
In fact, I think it's Rod Moore that's on the field. It's a good move.
Larkham and Lyons.
Hands off!
Gregan again. And Matt Cobain. Bill Young just 12 short of halfway, but the Wallabies have had all the ball here. And another high shot.
Yeah, I got it, mate. I got it.
That one just
13!
too high.
No, he's going off. 13!
It's a sin bin.
Well, Paddy O'Brien did say last time, next one he goes.
Not good enough. I'm sorry, you're gone.
Red card. It's a send-off. Joubert has been sent from the field. So South Africa
No problem.
will be down to 14 men for the last 10 minutes of the game, and suddenly Australia, you'd say, becomes an odds-on favourite to win this match.
Well, you were writing him off about 20 minutes ago.
Well, they didn't look in it, did they? Good, and there just wasn't that spark, but the changes that Eddie Jones has put on has just rekindled a bit of spirit there, and the Springboks have backed off. You wouldn't have expected that. You'd have thought they'd have gone on with the job. A reaction here again. It's high. There's too much of it. We've seen half a dozen or so of them in the last couple of games.
So Sterling Mortlock then for the 22. The Wallabies finishing full of running here. Skinstad. And now Larkham. Springboks a man down. Sharp.
Advantage.
Knocked on there by South Africa. Referee playing advantage. The try's on here for the Wallabies. Gisberg. And a collision. Back to Rogers. Good clean out there from Australia and Ben Tune. Penalties here. George Gregan, a drop goal. And I think he's put it through.
And Australia have drawn level at 26 points all. What a game.
Absolutely amazing.
You can never write them off. Gregan, as he would normally do when advantage is awarded, has a crack the field goal, and the little general, young Max, will be delighted with his dad.
Well, can they now score 26 points in the last 7 minutes?
Now you're really stretching it, Gordon.
What are you on, Gordon?
No problem.
Great take, Nathan Sharp. Cobain takes it forward.
Here's Gregan. Rogers. And he's knocked on. So finally South Africa's going to get some possession. 6.5 minutes to go. The Boks a man down. Joubert has been sent from the field.
Well, Matt Rogers' last couple of carry-ups, and you see Nathan Sharp. That ball came forward off Lyons, back to Sharp, so it should have been a offside. But Matt Rogers, a couple of fumbles the last balls out there is really happening. I'd look at the Springbok defence coming through, and they have gone high.
So the Wallabies scoring 17 points in 12 minutes. There were 17 unanswered points to draw level. South Africa led this game by 26-9. That's a turnover. That's the problem of having only 7 men in your scrum.
Now they've got to dig in against the Wallabies. That ball not coming the right channel. They tried to push it across, but the Wallaby scrum had kept coming.
So Rod Moore at tight head. And a good scrum from the box there. Scott's wrapping up Tore Kefu. Gregan has it.
Kefu does well.
Rogers is going to have a run here. And Mortlock.
Into touch, Mortlock.
I'm sure the Wallabies of 63 looking on. Jules Gerasimov, Johnny Williams, the winger that scored the try. They'd be hoping that this Wallaby team can do as they did and have a win here at Ellis Park.
So Ollie LaRue, a prop forward, throwing into the lineouts. And it's George Smith over the back. George Smith! Can he go all the way? Amazing run from Smith. Brilliant pass inside to Cannon, who gets his first test try. Look at George Gregan. The Wallabies have hit the lead. Absolutely amazing.
George is going off for George. What a run. Ollie LaRue finds him with the throw in the line out. Watch this, and George just puts the foot down. Lavaskakti, terrible tackle. Safaka's left behind in his dust. Conrade comes across. Poor attempt there, and Brendan Cannon, he's on and scores the try.
And Paddy O'Brien has got his hand up. Can you believe this? What a great breakout by George Smith. He put on bulk to give him a bit more go forward at the breakdown, and he's also kept the pace. Brendan Cannon, you've never scored a more important try. The same place that Mark Connors did for the Reds to win the Super 10 a long time back.
This is an unbelievable comeback by the Wallabies. They'd scored 22 points in 14 minutes when they looked down and out. This to give them a 7-point lead.
Now this will be a pretty angry crowd starting to get together here.
Brendan Cannon, what about that, his first test try?
He's followed it all the way like a great hooker should. He's well behind George Smith, but he's not out of it. Stephen Larkham is trailing as well, and you don't want to believe it. Here's his moment. Go, you good thing, Brendan Cannon.
So suddenly South Africa now needs a converted try to win the game, and Sharp with his Aussie rule skills there. That's Matt Cobain. They're moving it wide again. This is Herbert. Weak tackling from South Africa. They're really falling apart in their midfield defence.
Remember, they're a man down.
And we're on the 22.
Well, it's 26-9. I'd have said that they're almost certain to lose that Mandela trophy. And they really treasure that. It means a lot to every Wallaby. Bears the great man's name, and it determines that superiority between two great countries at rugby.
Well, the Springboks have just totally lost the plot after being in that seemingly invincible position. It's the Wallabies now in the lead by 5. Here's DeVette Barry.
Pulling them all down.
And a penalty here to South Africa. There's only a couple of minutes to go.
I'll just belt this one downfield, go to the line, although it might be a bit dangerous with Ollie LaRue throwing in.
It's not beyond South Africa to win this. They've got a good young combination. They've shown poise and also the ability to... A great kick by Werner Karius. Look at this crowd in this massively tiered stadium.
Bobby Skinstad and Safaka. Labuskakny wrapped up there by Mortlock. Wasn't that a brilliant tackle? Now Russell. The stepper. Oh, he's almost through again. Tackler there, number 12, going down on the tackled player.
Tackle, they're going forward.
I'll tell you what, Hendro Skolt's a bit lucky with the mountaineering there.
Gabby,
Matt Cobain.
Yeah, Gabby, do not sound the hooter until I say. Please.
Maybe a little gamesmanship here. The Tally players that do as good a job. That Russell stops and then goes again and nearly gets through. Underneath is Cobain, and then he gets a little tap dance on the back from Andre Scholz. Not quite sure where the ball was. I don't think it was just there.
So this is the last chance, the last throw of the dice for South Africa.
Needs to be a try to equalise and a conversion to do better. The game to win for the Springboks.
Wallabies have scored 22 points in a row. After the Springboks had scored 26 in a row. Here's Skinstad. Pass went backwards. The referee said it was knocked on by Australia.
You lost forward goal, scrum. Green.
And the clock still ticks away, but they've got time. They'll set the scrum. Skinstad.
Okay, we're playing. Let's go.
Scheming. The crowd expecting their heroes to win. Ball and all tackle here. Bumped out of the arms by Stephen Larkham.
They need a quick ball, and Skinstad now. To Blanche's on the field. Last-ditch opportunity for the box. That's the vet Barry. Now Conradi, Labuskakny. What a performance here by the Wallabies in this second half. It's still on for the box. Skinstad backs himself.
Leave it.
South Africa. Oh, there it is. Amazing. Bernard Greer. There's the equaliser. And the conversion can dramatically win the game for South Africa. Greer came from the clouds.
Does this game get any better? Each time you think it's won, it's lost. Elation for South Africa. Deflation for the Wallabies. Turner Crest hits the line, breaks the tackle, and goes over.
We've seen so much heartbreak inflicted by the Wallabies over the last 3 years. Now can this man convert his try? Werner Krief and puts the win up for the Springboks.
Well, you called it, Chris Handy. You said this South African team would not give up. They're a young team, and they have lifted dramatically. And have they snatched it? So Greer is going to be given the opportunity to convert his try and score a famous victory here.
This guy is also a fantastic golfer. He should have the poise.
Well, his first 2 penalty attempts were awful against the breeze, but this is much more comfortable. What a pressure kick. This to win the game. He has done it for South Africa. Bob Skinstad celebrates. He was the man who drove them forward to set up the scrum. Incredible victory to South Africa when they looked down and out. A game that fluctuated so violently.
Remember those moments that Australia have had. Sterling Mortlock to win the Tri-Nations in Durban. John Eales to beat the All Blacks and win back the Bledisloe Cup in Wellington. They celebrated kicks as that will be celebrated for a long time. They deserved it. The Springboks, they played positive, go forward rugby, but they fell in a hole for a while. Bobby Skinstad salutes the crowd, and this young man who's played so well right through the Tri-Nations and is going to be a huge player come World Cup time, converts his own try and is an instant hero in his own country. Look at his captain celebrate. You beauty.
Finally, Simon Poitevin for the Springboks, and they have deserved this victory.
Well, it's great for the nation too over there. They've gone so close over this year to the Tri-Nations, but now, finally, victory in their cathedral here at Ellis Park.